The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend event preview. My name is Reem Jishi, and I'm a run coach with the Run Formula and also a triathlon coach with Outrival Racing. And today I will walk you through the Disney Marathon weekend, the courses, but also just leading up to it and some of the logistical issues that go with this race. Just to let you know that this webinar is being recorded right now, and it will be available soon after the webinar up on the Run Formulas website and the other QT2 systems websites in your members page. So you'll have be able to access it again. This is you are on as listen only right now. So if you have any questions or if you're having a difficult time with any of the technology, please go ahead and type in the questions, and then I will get to them as soon as I can. So a lot of the information in this webinar is coming from the digital event guide, which is on the Run Disney website. I have to say, as I was going through that website and preparing for this webinar, it's one of the most confusing sites. So hopefully I'll have simplified things down for you, help you see where you can pull the information from. But if you have any questions, definitely please go ahead, type them in, or you can refer back to that site for additional information. So I'm just going to start first with the expo. So as in most big races, you will need to pick up your packet prior to race morning. So you have options in terms of when you have to pick it up, but obviously, really, the sooner that you can get there, the better. That way, you have it out of your way. If you're staying at one of the Disney resorts, then the easiest way to get to the expo is the shuttle buses. They're available and over to the expo, and they run pretty regularly there and back. So make sure to arrive early, give yourself plenty of time. There's about over 60,000 participants in this event, so things are going to be a little hectic at the expo. You'll have to go through security and all that too, so allow yourself plenty of time. So as I mentioned, packets can't be picked up on race morning. And to pick up your packet at the expo, you'll just need to bring your photo ID and then also a completed waiver. And that waiver is available. You can go ahead and link to the website and complete the waiver in advance to bring it over. When you do packet pickup, you will get your bib number, you'll get a race shirt, and then you'll get a gear bag. So the gear bag, similar to many races, it's a clear plastic bag. That is the only bag that you can use to check your things in on race morning. So on race morning, they'll have gear drop-offs before in the staging area, and then you can pick it up at the end of the race. So I believe you'll be, if you're doing multiple races, you'll be given a bag for each of your races. So make sure to use that and so that you're not stuck on race morning. So the expo also has a really big vendor area. So you'll have, if it's interesting to you and you want to go around and check out some things at the expo, then that's definitely an option. And there's also a whole schedule of talks on various topics. So on the race bib, what you will see is that you have your race bib has a few things. So obviously it's your unique race number, and there's different series of numbers for all the races. And if you're racing Dopey Challenge or Goofy, you will be given a single bib to wear for all of the races that you're entered into. So in there, there's the embedded timing chip. The one exception to that is the 5K. So if you're racing the 5K, then that's a fun run. So there's no chip there. It'll have your first name on there. And then the big thing is the letter indicating your corral assignment. So the corral assignments, and we'll go through them more as we hit each of the events, is that the corral assignments are based on your estimated finish time or the time that you gave from a prior race to verify your timing. So it is a rolling start based on speed, expected finish time. So on the back is where you can put in your medical and emergency information, and that's always a good idea to fill that part out. So the events for the weekend, there are 4 events. So the 5K Thursday, 10K Friday, half marathon Saturday, marathon and Sunday. The Goofies Race and Half Challenge is the combo of Saturday and Sunday, and then the Dopey Challenge is all 4 events. Okay, so just I'm going to go through the 5K and the 10K pretty quickly. So all of the races this year start at the Epcot parking lot. So that makes it pretty streamlined in terms of logistics. So you can take, there's shuttle buses available from the Disney hotels over to the race starts. There is parking available if you need it, but it's better to take the shuttle buses if you're able to do that. So you just need race start on Thursdays at 5:30 in the morning, and you need to be at the Epcot parking lot by 4:30 to give your time to, if you want to check in any gear, or if just to get through security and stuff and to get into your staging areas on time. So it's a 5K is a 1-loop course, and I'm going to go ahead and just click to that course here for you. So it's a 5-loop or 1-loop course. 5K starts in the Epcot parking lot over here, and then it swings around, and really the 5K is it's through Epcot. So you come through, it's a loop. There is one water stop right here at the midway point, and that's it. That's the nutrition on the course, which shouldn't be a problem. And so it's, as I mentioned before, it's an untimed run. There's no pace requirement on this one. So the 10K, same kind of timing, 4:30 to Epcot, 5:30 start time. This is a bigger race. There's some more additional corrals in the 10K race. And this one, again, they're all 1-loop courses. So here the 10K is it's again through Epcot with some additional run through the outside of the park and the roads and stuff. But the only part of Disney that you really see on this one is Epcot for the 10K. There are 3 water stops on this course, and you'll see them. The first is right here, just after mile 2. And then you've got one at just before mile 4 and one after mile 5. So it is water only on the 10K course. So if you do feel like you need your own nutrition on the 10K, then make sure to bring that with you. Okay, so there are a couple medical stations. There's also medical stations at the finish line if needed. All right, the half marathon. So half marathon has an earlier arrival time. It's a 4 a.m. time. This is crazy early. Race starts at 5:30, as in the same as the other 2. Same starting location at the Epcot parking lot. And just to get lined up, there's number of H corrals. So just looking number wise at the half marathon, there's, based on the bib numbers, there's about 16,000 people registered for the half marathon, and another registered by participating in either Goofy or Dopey. So it's a big race. So definitely give yourself the time that you need to get through there, and don't feel rushed on race morning. So this, again, it's a 1-loop course, and this one goes through Epcot and Magic Kingdom. So looking at the course over here, you'll start over in Epcot, you'll head north, you'll go into Magic Kingdom, circle around, come back through some of the park roads, and then come back into Epcot. So we'll talk about weather a little bit more later, but it looks like you're going to have some windy and hot conditions. So you'll definitely feel some of the wind direction on this course because some of it is open in this exposed area. So wind can play a factor on this course. There are 9 water stops on the half marathon course. So they are here for the half marathon. You have both water and also Powerade on the course. So you'll have that available to you at all of the water stations. You'll have both available. There is one food station, and it comes around mile 9 for the half marathon. The nutrition are Cliff Shots, and this information is, as far as I can tell, it's not available still on the website. So we had this information direct from Disney. So this is what we have been told is the support for the half marathon. So the water stops are about every 1.5 miles. And as I mentioned, the food station is 9 miles in. which, depending on your pace and your nutrition plan and what you're taking, it's probably something that you want to carry your own nutrition for you on the half marathon. Okay, going to the marathon. So the marathon schedule is earlier. It's a 5 a.m. Start time. So you need to arrive by 3:30. And marathon numbers look a little smaller than the half marathon, but you're still talking around 25 to 30,000 people that are lining up for the marathon. So with this one, I'm just going to slow down a little more and click into some of these links I have here. So the staging area for the marathon it's pretty similar to the rest. Start line is over here, so you'll be lining up based on speed in your corrals. And then before the start, you have your options. You have your some water before the course and the porta potties and stuff like that to set up. But you'll get staged before the race according to numbers. So how the chutes work is is 3:40 or faster. B is a 3:41 to 4 hour projected marathon time. C is 4:01 to 4:30. D is 4:31 to 5. E is 5:01 to 5:30. F is 5:31 to 6. G is 6:01 to 6:30, and then H is 6:31 to 7. And those numbers I mentioned, they are all pre-assigned based on what you submitted in your registration. And you can always go back a corral, but you can't move forward in a corral. So it's as races are. I mean, it's all chip time, so your start doesn't start until you cross the starting line. Okay, so this is the sheet on the corral assignments, and so these are the times I just mentioned. These are the as they're listed for the marathon numbers, but both there's a similar chart for Dopey and Goofy, and they both have the same kind of cutoff time. So whatever your it's said on your bib is what you go with. Okay, so the marathon, it's a one loop course, and the marathon here does go through more parks. So this is the one with probably the best tour out there. So you will start at the race starts and ends at Epcot again. You'll run north as you head in up World Drive, and you'll run into Magic Kingdom. And then you'll come down basically through the park roads over here, and you'll go over into Animal Kingdom, and then hook back up, and you'll hit Blizzard Beach over here, and then you'll make it through Hollywood Studios, and then as you head back into Epcot. All of the courses in at Walt Disney World are very flat, so you're not really worrying about the temperature variation. But you'll see with this marathon course there are quite a few turns and U-turns and curves in the road and stuff like that. So the path that you take, the course that you pick, is going to be important out there to your timing. So okay, so marathon, in terms of the support on the course, there's 19 water stations, so they come up around every 1.5 miles, and there are 5 food stations, not very well supplied. So the first food stop isn't until mile 11 and a half, and it's just bananas. This is from what Disney has told us, so there's a possibility it's updated by race day, but this is the knowledge as we know it as of a couple days ago. So bananas on the first one, sports beans at mile 15.4, then back to bananas, then back to sports, not bees, but sports beans. And then the last stop is a candy stop. So clearly you need to carry your own nutrition with you on this course. Even if you're happy eating this food, there's not enough, it's not often enough. So make sure that you're carrying whatever nutrition that you need to. Hopefully the water stations with the Powerade are, should be good enough, but just from a solid nutrition standpoint, you're gonna want to carry your own nutrition. And 12 medical stations along the course, plus I think that they also have medics on bikes and stuff going there, and there's medical at the finish line as well. Okay, so going a little into pacing. So one thing that right now, the forecast is pretty warm, a lot warmer than ideal conditions for marathon. It's looking like 70-degree overnights for Saturday and Sunday, and with the high in like up to 84 is the current forecast. So definitely not ideal. In the past, Disney's actually been really cold in a lot of years. It's not so this year. The only thing that perhaps is a savior is that it doesn't look like full sun, but there's also windy conditions, especially for Sunday. Looks like it could get pretty gusty out there. So you've raced, you have a sense of what your pace is, but you might need to adjust that a little based on your heat, unless you have been training in the warmer climate. I live in Florida, so we've been training pretty hot temperatures all winter here. But if you're coming up from the north or something, you just to be cautious and make sure that you're hydrating and that you're adjusting for heat. So keep in mind some of the other guidance in terms of heart rate and rate of perceived exertion. So if you are looking for a pace band, I'm not sure if you can still get them or not, but there are options to have pace bands pre-printed for you. So over here, you can get pretty specific. They're specific for Disney Marathon, and then they're done based on how you want to pace your race. So if you want to go even paced or conservative and build, or negative split, depending on how you like to do it, you can set it up on the course. But this gives you a sense right here. This is the course profile for Disney. So pancake flat out there, very flat race. Okay, so there are pace groups at Disney, but they follow the Galloway approach. So it is a run-walk approach. So if that hasn't been how you're training specifically, then you might not want to go with the pace groups. But it's still kind of good to know where they are, because they'll be set up according to the various speeds. So you may not be running at the same pace. They'll be running perhaps faster than you and then stopping for walk breaks, and running faster than you and stopping. But it'll still help you sort of gauge where they are along the course. So there is runner tracking available, and you can register either in person at the expo, or there's an online link on the Disney page that you can go to. And then you can also send a text message to that number in here, 38909, and that will get you hooked up to runner tracking, which for this race, with how many people there are and the spectator difficulty, confusion a little bit for spectators, it's a really good thing to have people be able to track you as you go along. So some race day notes. There's some factors other than pace here, which are going to impact how fast you run on this course. So one of them is running the tangents. As I mentioned in the marathon course, there's a lot of turns on this course, turns, U-turns, curves along the way. It's pretty common to overrun courses by 0.2 to 0.4 miles, which can be pretty significant over the course of, for a marathon, that you could easily add, 3 or 4 minutes to your marathon time, which no one really, wants to do. So you want to be careful to try to run the straightest course through. But other things also that can add distance is when you pass runners and you zigzag. For runners, not only does it take some effort, but it also it tends to add additional time as you go around them to add distance. For any aid stations, if you're running in the middle and you need to go over to the side, obviously that can add some distance as well. And planned and unplanned stops. So if you're following a run walk approach, then that impacts your time. But unplanned stops, we're at a place, as I mentioned, where the temperature is going to be warmer, and so the times will likely be slower. There might be more walk breaks in there than you're planning on doing. And character visits. So this is unique to Disney, is that there are characters along the courses and all of the races. And it's up to you to how much you want to experience that part of the race. But if you do, just plan. The lines for some characters will be pretty short. The lines for the more popular characters, you might end up waiting, a few minutes to be able to get in there and take a picture or give the character a hug. So it's just something that you want to factor into your day and what your strategy is there. I'll mention for friends and family, it's a fun race to watch. It really is. But make a plan in advance. Let them know. Decide where you're going to see them along the course, so that you know where to look out for them, which side of the road that you're going to be on. And then after the race, where are you going to meet up with them? So having friends and family there is really fun, but you don't want them to add stress to you for the race. So there is, on the Disney site, there is a whole section on spectators. And so this is a good place to make sure that you look in advance and like where you hang out in, and it gives you some spectator tips in terms of how to find where to look out for runners, how to get to the race. So that's definitely something that you want to review with anyone that's with you in advance, so you take the stress off of yourself on race day, wondering where and how you're going to find your mom or your kids or your friends or whoever else might be on the course with you. So some final thoughts here. Be patient, allow for extra times. I mentioned there's over 60,000 runners that are signed up to participate in the races over the weekend. In the marathon and the half marathon, you're looking at 25 to 30,000 runners. Things will take time. Security takes time. It will take time to cross the starting line. Give yourself that extra time so that you're just not worried about things on the morning of. Get there, get to Epcot, get to the parking lot at the time that they specify you need to be there before. So next thing, hopefully doesn't need to be said, but always good to get reminded not to try anything new on race day. If you have not used Powerade at all and you're planning on taking it in on the course, go and get some in advance, pull some from the expo, just try it, make sure you're okay with it before you grab it. Liquid wise, it's hard, unless you're carrying your own bottles, it's hard to get that on the course. So hopefully you'll be able to use what's offered to you. Dress for the weather. So normally when I do this, I say extra clothes. It's going to be 40 degrees at the start line. You want to be able to dress in layers. In this case, it's already going to be pretty warm at the start line. I mean, you are starting in the dark with 5:30 and 5 a.m. start time. You'll be going for, almost the entire half marathon, depending on your speed, is going to be in the dark. So that will make it cooler. The first couple hours of the marathon are going to be in the dark. But then as you're getting into the miles and you're starting to get tired and it's kicking in, that's when the heat, and it's going to warm up around here. Once the sun comes out and the fog burns off, it gets warm and humid really, really quickly. So make sure you have your sunscreen on, you're cooling at your water stops, you're grabbing ice if it's available to you, and you're staying really hydrated through the race, and just adjust as you need to based on the temperatures, knowing that may have an impact on your race. Going in this, you're in the home stretch here. Some of you are racing on Thursday already, so focus on just eating your healthy nutrition, staying with the plan, keeping hydrated, taking in your electrolytes, resting as much as you can. And then have a plan for race morning, because these are very early start times. So you need to make sure that you're getting up, and you take the time and you give yourself the plan to get there. And so the last thing, overall, have a plan and stick with it. So think about it in advance. What's the day going to play out? Your plan with your spectators, your race approach, what you're going to wear on race day, everything. So the more planned it is, the less stress you'll have during race day. So that is it for my presentation. I'll open it up to questions if anyone has any. You can just type them into the questions box. So if anything comes up after you go back, you start looking through things, and any questions, feel free to reach out to me at the email below, and I'm happy to follow up with you. Otherwise, I'll just wrap it up for tonight. This is, like I said, this will be available to you later, and on the Run Disney website with the e-updates. That's a good place to just keep checking in to make sure if anything's changed in terms of logistics for race day. But otherwise, good luck, have fun, and I hope that you found this helpful. Have a good night.